I'm Sripriya, and today in this video I'll be discussing about an important topic in the education paper, that is statistical analysis of scores. So we know that in any education system, one of the important aspect is the evaluation of the students. So the students need to be evaluated, and it determines the quality of education that is being provided to the students. That is, if the evaluation results are good, then we can conclude that the education that is being provided to the students is of good quality, and the vice versa. So analysis of score is one of the important part in the process of evaluation, and measures of central tendency is about what I am going to discuss in this video. It is a statistical tool which helps the teachers to analyze the students at the very basic level. In any evaluation process, there will be some kind of numerical involved. That is, it can be some examination marks or some seminar scores or group activity scores or activity points, something like that. So these numerical, they have to be analyzed and interpreted in order to evaluate the students. And these measures of central tendency is a widely used statistical tool for doing these things. So first let us discuss what is measures of central tendency. Measures of central tendency, they are also known as statistics of location, and they describes the position of the distribution. That is, if we are given a data set, this measures of central tendency finds where the maximum number of data points are clustered in that data set. That measures of central tendency determines that. And there are mainly three measures, that is the mean, median and mode. So these helps the teacher to evaluate and assess the students. So in this video we'll discuss about these three things in detail. So first let us discuss about these three things in a very brief, simple manner, in a single word. So the first is mean. Mean is also known as the average. It gives us the average value of a given data set. So it is basically the sum of all the observations in a data set divided by the total number of observation. It will give us the mean value of the observation. Next is median. As the word says, median is the middle value of the observation, which is arranged in either descending or ascending order. The last one is mode. Mode is the highest frequency in a data set. Mode is the number which occurs more times in a given data set. Now we will discuss about these three things in detail and how this helps the teachers to analyze the marks or scores of the student. So the first one is mean. Mean is also known as arithmetic mean or average. It gives us the average value of the students. It is the sum of the total observation divided by total number of observation. That is mean, and it is represented by a letter x bar, and x bar is equal to sum of values divided by number of values. For example, consider a class having n number of students and they are having a marks x1, x2, x3 till xn. Then the mean of that class will be x bar is equal to x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus etc. plus xn divided by n, or in a condensed form we can write as sigma xi by n, where I is equal to 1 to n. For ungrouped data, this is the equation for finding mean. What if the data is grouped? Then there are several methods for finding the mean. The first one is direct method, assumed mean method and step deviation method. I am not going into detail about this. In direct method, the equation that we follow are sigma xi fi divided by sigma fi. Hope it is clear. Now let us look at an example. Here are the 5 marks of the students, and here we are finding the mean. We have the equation x bar is equal to x1 plus x2 plus x3 till xn divided by n. Here our n is 5. So it will be 45 plus 39 plus 38 plus 49 plus 37 divided by 5, that is equal to 43.8. The average score is 43.8, and the next is the important part, how these help the teachers to evaluate the students. First one, it helps the teacher to measure the average class performance. So mean will give the average class performance. So if a teacher is handling 2 classes, then the teacher can measure the average of different classes. Like one class is having good average. Good average means good progress. If a low average means a low progress. So teacher can measure that. Then evaluate teaching effectiveness. If a class is having low average, that means the teacher's method of teaching is not that effective for the class. So it helps the teacher to measure their effectiveness. Identify difficult topics. If the teacher takes the average of different chapters, teacher finds that second chapter is having a low average mark. That means the second chapter is difficult for the student. It helps to identify the difficult topic. Then assist in grading and assessment. Then comparing performance of groups, as I have already discussed. Then planning remedial teaching. If a class is having very low average mark, teacher understand that some more effort is needed, some more classes has to be given to that students, etc. Then monitor student progress over time. So we know sometimes we may conduct 2 internal exams, and in the first internal exam, if the class got a mark of 42, and in the next internal exam here the class is getting a average mark of 45, then we can say that there is a progress for the class. So it helps to monitor the progress as well. So these are the ways by which mean help the teachers to analyze the scores of the students. Next is median. As the word says, median is the middlemost value in a sorted data, and sorted data means arranged data, and the arrangement can be either increasing or in decreasing order. And this median will divide a given data set into 2 parts, the one which is above the median, the one which is below the median. And in order to find this mean, there are 2 equations. If the total number of observation is n, and if n is odd, then the equation is n plus 1 divided by 2 the term. That means n plus 1 by 2th term will be our mean. For example, if there are 9 observations, 9 is odd. So 9 plus 1, 10. 10 by 2, 5th term will be our median. What if it is even? If n is even, then we will have to find the average of n by 2th term plus n by 2 plus 1th term. So the average of both those terms will give us the median. This is for ungrouped data, and for grouped data, first we have to find median class. We will find n by 2. Then we will find cumulative frequency. Cumulative frequency, we will add the preceding frequency with the, if it is first cumulative frequency will be the frequency itself. For the second class interval, the frequency will be first frequency plus the second will give us the cumulative. So that is cumulative frequency. So we will find n by 2 and we will check where in that CF is our n by 2 present. So that will be our median class, and L is the lower limit of median class. N by 2 we have already found. CF is the cumulative frequency of the class that is preceding the median class. F is the frequency of the median class, and H is the class width. So this is how we will find for group data. Now let us move on to an example. So here marks of 9 students are given. So 9 is odd, 9 plus 1 10 by 2, 5th term will be our median, and the 5th term is, after arranging in ascending order, it is 55. So the median is 55. Now we will discuss how this helps the teachers. So it shows the middle level of student performance, or it shows the typical student level. So we know that in a class there will be high scorers, average scorers as well as low scorers. But in most of the cases in a class there will be, most of the students will be an average score. So in the case of mean is considering all the points. If out of 50, if a student gets 50 and if one student gets 2, then mean will consider all those points. So it may mislead the teacher. But here median, it will take the middlemost value. So it gives us the mark that a middle level student will get in her class. Then reduce the effect of extreme mark. As I said, it will reduce the effect of extreme marks. It will take the middle value. Identify typical student level and help the teacher to group the students for remedial teaching. So this median will divide the students into two. The students who is having below median and above median. So the teacher can decide who needs remedial teaching, who doesn't want remedial teaching, etc. Then evaluate course or exam difficulty. The teacher found that in an exam, in an exam, the median value is 10. Out of 50, the median value was 10. The median is very low. So the middle value is 10. So the teacher finds that okay, that exam was difficult or that subject was tough, etc. Next is providing reliable results for uneven data. So this is how median help the teachers to analyze the score of the student. Now the last one is mode. Mode is very simply the highest number of occurring frequency in a data set. For example, if I have a data set of 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2. So here 1 is repeating 4 or 5 times than 2. So which is the mode? Mode is 1. So the highest occurring frequency in a data set is mode. And a frequency can be of no mode, or if it is having a single mode, then it is unimodal. If there are 2 modes, then it is bimodal. 3 modes, trimodal. If there are more than 2 or more than 1, then it is multimodal. For group data, it is the highest frequency occurring. And for ungrouped data, it is the highest frequency occurring. And for group data, we have to find the model class. The model class is the class which is having the highest frequency. That will be our model class. And we have the equation L plus F1 minus F0 divided by 2F1 minus F0 minus F2. Where F0 is the frequency of the class preceding the model class, F1 frequency of the model class, F2 the frequency of the class succeeding the model class. So this is how we will find the mode for group data. Now here is an example for finding the mode. Here you can see the number 50 is repeating 4 times. So 50 is the mode and it is a multimodal data set. Now the last part is how mode is helping the teachers. Mode help the teachers to identify the most common student score or the most frequent achievement level. So mode is the most occurring thing. So the teacher can identify which is the most occurring score or most achievement score of the students. So the teacher can understand the level of most of the students. Then it helps plan remedial teaching. If the mode of an exam is out of 25, the mode is 10, then the teacher understands that she need to put some more effort to make the students understand the topic. So that is, it helps for remedial teaching. Then identify common mistakes. It helps the teachers to identify common mistake. If she is taking the mode of the mistakes, and if she find that most of the students are making mistakes in a particular problem, then she can understand that problem should be taught in a different manner or something. Then it helps in analyzing grade distribution and supporting teacher curriculum. So this is about how mode helps the teachers to analyze the students. So here is the simple pictorial description of mean, median, mode. And here you can see there are extremums. One student is having very much height. Some students are having very low height. The mean is taking the average value, that is the red one is having an average height. Then median is also the middle one. The red is the middle one. There are 5 number of students. Then mode is the most number of repeating times. The orange is repeating 2 times in this data set. So that is mode. Hope it is clear. So as a conclusion, we can say that measures of central tendency, mean, median and mode, are very useful for the teachers, especially teaching physics, mathematics, chemistry or any other subject, to analyze the scores and to evaluate the students. So that's all for this video. Thank you.